doesn't show up in the box score, but she just is like always in the right place at the right time. And a player like that, I think complements what Indiana is building. It's not that they can't be critical of certain things. They can have their opinions, but that's where I don't understand
In the Fever, we're like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Ball and Caitlin continuing to impress, and just she's going to break records nonstop for the next couple years. Yeah. It's just going to be a constant record break.
What happens when a basketball legend like Sue Bird speaks up? Everyone listens. And what she just revealed about the Indiana Fever will make you question everything you thought you knew about Caitlin Clark's situation. In one interview, Bird completely dismantled the idea that Clark is stuck in a hopeless situation. The Fever just signed Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, and Dana Bonner, all experienced playoff veterans.
I think Natasha Howard certainly stands out. I loved playing with Tosh.
But you cannot say enough.
That's not what a basketball purgatory looks like. That's what a team on the rise looks like. But how did this dramatic shift happen so quickly? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Remember when Sheryl Swoopes called the Indiana Fever a dumpster fire and claimed Caitlin Clark was heading to basketball purgatory?
So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't want to be here. This is where I want to be.
Well, that take didn't just age poorly, it completely imploded. The Indiana Fever, once the team nobody wanted to join, has undergone such a dramatic transformation that even WNBA legends are taking notice.
In the Fever, we're like, y'all.
That's not my point. There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Sue Bird absolutely demolished Swoopes' criticism in her recent interview. And let me tell you, when Sue Bird speaks, the basketball world listens. The Fever's roster rebuild isn't just impressive, it's revolutionary for a franchise that was perpetually stuck at the bottom of the standings. What's absolutely mind-blowing is how quickly things changed. One draft pick, Caitlin Clark, and suddenly the Fever isn't just relevant, they're a destination. Players who used to avoid Indiana like it had a contagious disease are now practically begging to join their roster. That's not hyperbole. That's the reality of what's happening in Indianapolis right now. Let's break down these signings because they're not just random veterans looking for a paycheck. The Fever strategically acquired players who perfectly complement Clark's game. Natasha Howard brings championship DNA and defensive prowess that Bird specifically praised. Howard has that rare quality of always being in the right place at the right time, something that doesn't always show up in box scores, but wins championships.
Doesn't show up in the box score, but she just is like always in the right place at the right time. And a player like that, I think complements what Indiana is building.
You know what's fascinating about Howard? She's exactly what basketball insiders call a glue player. Her defensive capabilities will balance out any weaknesses in Clark's game while allowing the rookie phenom to focus on what she does best.
Right now has gone from, a team that made the playoffs last year, lost in the first round. They were building all these young pieces. Of course, Caitlin Clark.
Creating offensive magic. That's not coincidence. That's calculated team building at its finest. Then there's Sophie Cunningham, who brings something the Fever desperately needed: toughness and playoff experience.
Really lacked in that area. So just adding pieces of, players that have been in this league. They know what it takes to win. They know what it takes to get to the finals. They know what it takes to win championships.
Bird specifically pointed out Cunningham's mental and physical toughness, noting how she brings an edge to any team she joins. As a 3-and-D specialist who can guard multiple positions, Cunningham is exactly the type of veteran who can thrive alongside a playmaker like Clark. Imagine this. Clark drives into the lane, drawing defenders, and kicks it out to Cunningham for an open three. That's the kind of scenario that's going to play out dozens of times this season, and it's why Cunningham chose Indiana. Players want to be where they can succeed, and playing with an elite passer like Clark is a shooter's dream. Dana Bonner's addition might be the most strategic of all. Bird emphasized how Bonner's previous experience with coach Stephanie White creates an instant bridge between coaches and players. That's basketball psychology 101.
Brings an edge to them. And then last but not least, they added Dewana Bonner, which really I think is the one that for most people took it to another level. So now you're like, oh.
Having veterans who understand the coach's system helps rookies assimilate faster.
Biggest part of DB joining this team is that she's already played for Steph. So I think that's going to help bridge the gap because
Bonner brings versatility, scoring ability, and defensive mobility, plus that championship pedigree from playing with stars like Steph Curry. The front office clearly prioritized not just talent, but leadership. They've assembled a group of veterans who know what it takes to win at the highest level. This isn't just about improving, it's about creating a winning culture from the ground up. Coach Stephanie White is fostering a chemistry-focused environment that Bird specifically highlighted. When a basketball icon with 4 WNBA championships and 5 Olympic gold medals praises your team-building approach, you're doing something right. Bird's endorsement carries weight that few others in the sport can match.
It's not that they can't be critical of certain things. They can have their opinions. But that's where I don't understand.
What kind of things do you feel?
I'm not in the locker room.
Okay,
I
but just,
I'm talking about more social media.
Okay.
What's truly remarkable is that Clark is changing the entire WNBA landscape before playing a single professional game. Think about that. Most rookies spend their first season just trying to adjust to the professional level. Clark, she's already transforming an entire franchise's reputation and attracting championship caliber talent just to play alongside her. The Fever's transformation isn't just a slight improvement, it's a complete franchise overhaul that has the potential to reshape power dynamics throughout the league. Teams that were comfortable ignoring Indiana in free agency now have to reckon with a new reality. The Fever is becoming a force. This is exactly what the WNBA needs. More competitive balance and teams rising from the ashes to challenge the established powers. And it's happening because one player has such gravitational pull that veterans are willing to bet their careers on her potential.
Ball and Caitlin continuing to impress and she's going to break records nonstop for the next couple years. Yeah. It's just going to be a constant record. And they're still really meaningful and they still show and tell a story of the viewership that is being gained in the WNBA. And yet some people continue to flip that.
You know what's even more incredible? This is just the beginning. Clark hasn't even played her first official WNBA game yet. The anticipation around what this team could become isn't just exciting for Fever fans. It's exciting for basketball lovers everywhere. This is the kind of story that transcends sports and becomes cultural. What we're seeing with the Indiana Fever isn't just a team getting better. It's a total revolution happening right before our eyes. Sue Bird herself said they're poised and set up for a great successful next era of Fever basketball. And when a legend like Sue Bird makes that kind of statement, you better believe it means something serious. She's not known for exaggerating or jumping on hype trains. When she sees potential, it's because it's really there.
I think Caitlin Clark is at that ascension point where she's going to be top of the MVP race. We're going to talk about her in terms of stat leaders later, but
this isn't just about proving critics wrong anymore. It's about witnessing the birth of what could become the WNBA's next powerhouse team in real time. Basketball history is literally unfolding right now.